This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Okay, we're going to have fresh news later in the morning because nothing's really going on right now. I was on Bleu DaVinci's page, and I was looking around, and I was like, oh, okay, so he did put up some stuff recently talking about everything that's going on. And I was interested in this because Bleu DaVinci was labeled a snitch a few years ago. Like, I would say 2020, 21. Dexter Sosa and some other people really came out and really just said, I have all the paperwork, they said, and, the only way you get a release valve or whatever it's called from the feds, you have to give up some information. And then all of a sudden, there was this limo that they found, and they repossessed the limo, right? Because this is how they transported all their stuff. Yeah, they found there were these like gas chambers in the limo that could be opened, and it would either have drugs or money in it, and they were compartments. I'm going to show you right now because that's why I'm trying to open these compartments would open and would be filled with either money or kilos of cocaine. And so it's like they had this limo the whole time, but they didn't know what it was. And then all of a sudden they found out that, there's $1 million in this limo. And a lot of people think that this limo was left and they didn't get it because, Meech or whoever felt like that's a safety net for if we need to go buy that limo at auction, have someone go buy it, we can open it and get the $1 million out. But it was found. I'm sure there's more of these things that existed that people accessed. They had a lot of cars, but see how the seats would come down, and they would be filled with this. What you're seeing is the seats folded down, and then this is what it looks like in there. And these would be gas controlled, so they would suck all the air out of these containers, so drug sniffing dogs couldn't find anything. I mean, it's a pretty crazy operation. You got to give Big Meech and Terry this. They had a cartel mindset, and they put something together that we have never seen before. But they were sloppy with other things. After a decade of being in the game, 2 decades, they got sloppy. That's basically it, So I've been watching interviews with drivers and stuff like that. People had a lot of respect for Meech back then. And, the split with Terry and Meech, they both had their pros and cons. Now, Meech recently got out, and Cuffy is arrested. Cuffy is a guy that was affiliated with Big Meech and did a lot of business with Meech before he went to prison and after. He was in prison for 10 years, so he was in prison for the first couple years BMF was started and part of the 90s. But, Big Meech and his brother go back to the 80s, so they did a lot of business together. He claims they gave him their first $1 million. But Timmy Cowan, who's Meech's assistant, supposedly set up Cuffy, right? And they're trying to say that Big Meech is the one that introduced Cuffy, Tammy, and then also there was this other guy named Suarez that Big Meech met in jail in Michigan in 2006. And somehow he got in the mix with Meech, told him to call Tammy and contact Cuff. So it says this in this paperwork, and this is the paperwork that Bleu DaVinci's posting, and he's mentioned in the paperwork. Are you, she was doing all this, she said, for a time cut. It says it right here, okay? For Big Meech. Why would she be doing that? And why did, why was she so... There's so many things. Well, I already went over the paperwork earlier, and there's other paperwork to go over with later today in between stories, like real news stories. But it's funny to me that Bleu DaVinci was getting canceled for he essentially gave, if he gave them any information, say he did give up the limo, he denies that, right? Say he gave up the limo and how to open it, right? Because it's a sequence of, you got to put the car in park, push the defrost button. They had this like key, this way to open the vehicles. And only a few people knew it. Nobody went to jail behind it. It's worse to tell on somebody and somebody goes to jail. And allegedly that's what they're saying about Meech. So they're painting this thing about Bleu Da Vinci. But nobody went to jail behind Bleu Da Vinci. I got to give him that. And with Meech, it looks like Cuffy went to jail, to be honest. We'll see. But, you know, he pretty much outs the whole thing, and he says, if you're wondering how Buddy, they call him Buddy, right? Buddy went to jail. He didn't even really get out. You know, Tammy fell in love with the agent that they were setting up to play with, and threw the whole multi-year investigation away, and was paid like $300,000, Tammy was, to be an informant. And basically, Meech got out, still got 2 points reduction, and got out a little early. That's what it looks like happened, to be honest with you. He wasn't supposed to come out till this year or next year, but he was out in 2024. So he got like 2 years. Now, he did highlight that, hey, everybody should get their money back from this concert, right? What's funny is, I wonder if Rick Ross will face any repercussions from this, because he's the one who was advising Big Meech to go against 50 Cent. He got in Big Meech's ear early. You know, Meech came home October. He was in Meech's ear by like November, December, talking to him. They didn't link up till January, obviously, to promote his car show and the show that Big Meech is throwing. But before that, he was on the phone with him, talking to him about like, yo, this is your story. 50's benefiting from it. You need to benefit from it. You should demand this from him, that from him. When they already did their business deal. 50 Cent did a business deal with Tammy, who had the right to do the deal for Meech's life rights. She had power of attorney. Meech doing this so soon, not even really showing up to being part of any filming. And don't forget, Big Meech's son, who he's been out of his life for 20 years, is now acting in this and has made millions of dollars, right? And it's a limitless career. There's no ceiling to it. He's a good actor. He can keep acting in different things. This could be a launching point for him. But Big Meech listened to Ross, challenged 50 Cent. 50 Cent rubbed him the wrong way. But 50 Cent's forgiving as long as it's not public. Once he went public with Rick Ross and was buddy-buddy with him, and Meech did that purposely to show 50 Cent like, I'm with your enemy right now. It's a juvenile way to do things, right? Well, that blew up because now 50 Cent was like, well, now, you know, because Tammy, at the same time he got up with Ross, he got rid of Tammy Cowan and said it was bad for his brand for her to be around. And that's why 50 Cent said, that's why I said it's the worst thing he could have done is gotten rid of Tammy. Because Tammy knows the truth about you, and she's ready to expose you because you threw her away like a tampon pad that's been used. Okay? And now you're going to see Big Meech just have no credibility. And I bet you one thing. I bet you 50 Cent continues to do the series, but Big Meech won't have as much involvement. It'll be more of a consultant. You talk to the writers, tell them what happened. 50 doesn't even have to just go to Big Meech. He can hire other consultants, drivers, other people to tell the story of what happened. He could have hire Bleu Da Vinci. He could get anybody. They'll take the check and they'll come in. He could talk to J-Bo. These people were around too. They could tell the story. He doesn't necessarily need Meech at this point. They did all the beginning stuff already. Now we're at the part where they're forming BMF. And then he can have a whole nother spinoff after this of maybe some cooperation. This is just messy. And if I was Lil Meech, I would get far away from my father. Your father is self-centered. Your father is narcissistic. And your father does not have your best interests. He has his own interests. In his life, he just lost 20 years of his life. Wasn't there to raise you. So you should probably get away from your dad just for a little while. Not forever, but for a little while until he's going to have to transition out of jail. And that takes time. But, we'll see what happens here. I'll keep you guys up to date on this paperwork situation later on today. I read off one of the hearings today. I summarized a 200-page document down to about 25 minutes earlier today. That's where this page comes from right here. It's really the Frank hearing. Everyone keeps saying it's a different hearing. It's the Frank hearing, but it references other testimonies that were done. So anyways, I will check you guys in the next one. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. This is just a quick video to end the night so I can go to sleep and I'll wake up. Don't worry. I know a lot of you get mad. Like, oh, where's the news? This is a topic for right now, okay? And it'll be over in a minute, but this is a topic for right now. And this is an interesting topic. I don't care what you say. If you don't have to watch these, you could watch the other news videos. I clearly label them. And I appreciate you all for watching. This is Jordan Tower with JT News.